of suicide at that time, in that moment. But I absolutely cried out and said, I don't want to live another day feeling what I feel. And I think prior to that, I had had moments of desperation, of ordering the pills or, you know, the prepackaged food.
I'm going to do something no matter what.
I had lots of moments of, I'm going to do this for real. But never had I gotten to a point where I said, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I am done. I will never revisit the pain over this ever again. And that night is when I cried out and I said, God, I can't do it by myself. I've tried by myself to do this so many times, like I've tried to do other things, you know.
So this actually became a spiritual journey for you more than anything else, didn't it?
Absolutely. And I think that's what made all the difference in the world. Because if I was just going to come here and talk to you about just how to lose weight by my program and eat, you know, the way I'm going to teach you how to eat, and then, you know, I'm a certified trainer and spinning instructor, a marathon runner, and we'll talk about fitness. I mean, that's all stuff that there's a million people that can tell you that kind of stuff. But what I want to tell people, the message that I want to say is that you don't have to do this alone. That God is in the business of restoration and that you do have the ability to change. I mean, there is a lot of power in deciding first to do something and then the results will come. For me, that night in the car, I decided I'm never going to do this again. I'm not going to have this breakdown ever again. And then just like, you know, we've heard of people overcoming alcoholism where they say the serenity prayer, because when they show up for a meeting and they're broken and they're done, you know, and they can't deal with the struggle, it doesn't matter what their faith is. When they walk in, they're handed a prayer that says, you know, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I can't change, but the willingness to change the things I can. And that's what I said that night. I said, God, I'm willing. I'll do the work, because it was work. It doesn't matter what the spiritual encounter was that night. I didn't wake up the next day and I wasn't hungry for 2 years. You understand? I mean, really. So it was just, but I knew that what happened that night was real. And I had decided that I would never go back to that pain again. And so whatever it would take, it would be worth it. And I tell you, in that moment in the car, I heard the voice of God say, you're not being the best you can be. And it was just great, because that's, I mean, I believe that's God. God's not going to tell you in your situation, like, you did this wrong or you've done that wrong. And that's a picture people have of God. They believe God is wanting to point the finger at them.
But you see God as someone who wants you to be the best you can be.
He wanted me to succeed in life. He wanted me to have a story to tell. Because when I tell this story today, it's not just, you know, Chantel decided to lose weight and feel good and look better. It's me saying that there is a true living God that wants you to succeed in life. And if you will ask, He will help.
Provides the power for you to be able to do that. Now, you talk about excuses. Tell me about excuses.
You love that from the book? That's pretty funny.
Oh, my goodness.
Because I'm being all sweet with you now, and we're like, hey, let's talk about the night in the car, and we can get emotional. But I'm very sassy in the book. I will tell you the truth. Because I believe that excuses hold us back. Yeah, and I always, the first thing I say about time is, number one, the last time I checked, we all have 24 hours, you know? Really. I mean, if you think about the mom that's at home and watching Barney and, you know, doing play dates, and the president still have 24 hours. Like, it's a universal thing. What I really believe that we have to talk about is that we all make time for the things that are important to us. If you love American Idol, you TiVo it and you watch it, you know? If you love to scrapbook, I'm not a scrapbooker. Like, I know people that will, like, schedule a weekend to go with their friends and scrapbook and make these beautiful albums, and I love looking at them, and I wish I had them, but it's not my thing. But so I'll go run 10 miles on a Saturday morning because I like that, you know? So whatever the case may be, time is a universal thing. You've got to get past it.
What are the decisions you have to make?
The 5 decisions of my program are, number one, you have to be truthful. And that means honesty. You've got to own up to your deal, you know?
And we're not good at that.
We're not good at that. We're good at blaming it on everything else. How many women email me like, I could really lose weight if my husband would stop bringing Snickers bars in the house every night?
So roll through those.
So we'll just tell the whole world to stop having chocolate and ice cream, you know?
That's right.
So you've got to be truthful. You've got to be forgiving. You've got to
be... Of yourself?
Of yourself, because I believe most people are held back from success in life or accomplishing their goals because they can't get past their old failures.
Yeah, that's true.
Every time they get started, they remind themselves of the last time that they started and stopped.
That's right. What about number 3?
You've got to be committed. And that means I had to show up for work. This was a job. I took on a task, I took on a job, and I had to show up. And there was nobody else that could do it for me.
That's a good way
couldn't pay somebody to go on the treadmill. I couldn't, you know, I had to be the one to put in the time.
And number 4?
To be interested. And that meant don't expect other people to learn how my body's rigged. Don't expect other people to tell me to eat half a grapefruit and half a cup of cottage cheese. Like, I needed to figure it all out. I needed to do the research. And thankfully, it's all in the book that I've done for you. But being interested, like, you've got to know, if you're going to do it forever, if you're going to take care of your body and have a healthy lifestyle forever, you need to be willing to pay attention.
Here's how to do it. And the last one?
And the last one's the most important one. That's the insurance. I mean, that's the one that says that I'm really never going back, and that's the surrender factor. So you've got to be surrendered. That's where I said, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I won't revisit this pain again. So truthful, forgiving, committed, interested, and surrendered.
Very good.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Mike and Gail will be back with Chantel after this.
Welcome back. We're glad you're with us today. We're talking to Chantel Hobbs. And you made a decision. The Lord really spoke to you that night in the car. You made a decision to change your life.
Right.
To lose the weight. So what kind of happened right after that?
Well, I, went home and I woke up my husband and I said, okay, so this is the thing. I'm going to lose weight, because I'd never said that before. Right? Women never say that. And then I said, and by the way, and God also told me in the car, I'm going to write a book to help people one day. Because now I'm qualified to, write a book about that.
Decided.
Because I've decided 5 seconds ago.
Yeah, it's like you've never heard me say I'm going to lose weight.
No, never.
Yeah.
So my husband, in all of his wisdom, I joke because I'm always, Miss gung-ho emotional, and I'm like, and your job is to basically burst my bubble, because he said, listen, what you should do is, and he goes, do it, then talk. So for my personality, which is not like, I just don't have an A personality, it's like AAA personality, it was game on, that night for me.
See,
game
for me,
on.
that would be like,
great,
okay.
now I'm
you don't believe, now I'll never do it. You don't believe in me.
Don't say that. No.
I wouldn't do that to her, though.
Well, okay.
No, he wouldn't.
Different dynamic. I got
Different
it.
dynamic.
Okay.
But you're like, okay.
We're talking about my marriage here. We'll talk about yours then. No. So what happens is I lay awake and I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? What have I said? But it was important that I told him, because I believe in accountability. You know, I believe that we need to verbalize. When you're not willing to share with somebody something that you're going to do, it's generally because you've got one foot out the door.
Yeah, that's true.
For me,
sure
that
really
night, no, I was done. Remember? I was done. So I went to bed. And I woke up the next day. Miraculously, I hadn't lost any weight. I couldn't believe that,
Go figure.
So I woke up the next day and I laid in bed and I thought, what have I done? What have I said? Was this a dream? And I was like, no, I did say I was going to do this, And I said, all right, God, it's you and me. What am I going to do? And I evaluated what I had done in the past and why I had always failed. And it was because I tried to do it all in a day. I would go from one extreme, of eating whatever I want, not paying attention to exercise. And then I'd wake up on a Monday morning and I would say, today is the day that I now work out 3 hours a day. And all I eat is salad, by the way, everywhere I go, just so everyone knows, with my special dressing that I brought in my purse. Well, it's not realistic. I mean, it wasn't realistic to go from one extreme to the next. I hadn't created that lifestyle. So what I needed to do is I needed to have a foundation of discipline first, because that's what was really lacking. Everything that went along with that, not